Hey everybody, it's me, and I'm in my kitchen. Um, and I'm making a special type of macaroni and cheese that my mom used to make when I was younger. Um, it only has three ingredients, typically. It has a can of Cheese Whiz, it has petite diced tomatoes, and it has a pasta, which I like to use these twisty kind of noodles. You can use elbows, but if you use elbows, get the bigger elbows. They make them like that are a little bit bigger. Use those or use the twisties. I'm boiling some water. And basically, this recipe is something that when I was a kid, my mom, when she didn't feel good or just didn't feel like cooking or was in a rush for whatever reason, she would make this specific type of macaroni and cheese for us, and it was like a meal in itself, and that's what we would eat. And, she'd make it maybe once every 3-4 weeks, or if we requested it for whatever reason because we loved it. And I know that people are gonna say in the comments, well, if you replace that cheese whiz with this type, with real cheese, it would probably be better. And yes, I understand that you can do lots of things, but for this specific recipe, I'm just, showing you an easy way to make it for under $7. You could feed a family of four, and it's easy peasy. If you add some ground beef to it, some already browned ground beef into the sauce mixture when I show you how I make that, it's also very hearty. You could do that. I only add one extra thing, and I only do this sometimes if I have it, and that's a little bit of cream cheese I'll add, but you don't have to. It's not necessary. I didn't grow up eating it that way. I grew up eating it this way, which is perfect. If you like comfort foods and you feel like trying something different, I definitely recommend you trying this because it is really yummy, and it is very much a comfort food, and it's meant to be quick and easy, and it's not meant to be healthy. It's not meant to be like anything else but what it is. And my mom had her kids starting in the 50s. That's when Cheese Whiz came out, so she started making it. My parents, at that time, when my oldest brother and sisters were young, they didn't have a lot of money, so they would make Cheese Whiz and stuff, and make this Cheese Whiz kind of mac and cheese thing, as a dinner, and then it just stayed in her repertoire of meals over the years, every now and again, and I love it. When Chris and I moved in together and I would make it for him, he loves it. Like anytime I'm gonna make it, he's like, yes, yes, make it, because he loves it, and it's really good. So I definitely recommend you giving it a try, especially if it's like, it's a day when you just don't feel like making anything massive, and making, a big mess. It takes 2 pots and 3 things, and really that's it. That's all you need. And the sizes, Cheese Whiz only comes in one size. This is really it. It's a 15-ounce can. They also have, just about every grocery store has ever been in has their own store brand version of it. That's fine too. I've used that all the time. Usually it's a little bit of a skinnier and taller jar though. The diced tomatoes, I put a whole can, typical type of vegetable can, whatever this size is, 14.5 ounces, about that. So if it's like a 12 ounce, it's fine. If it's a 16 ounce, it's fine. Doesn't matter. As far as the pasta though, I don't put the whole box in. I put about 3/4 of the box in. So I'll put in just about all of it into the boiling water. The reason for that is because when you make the cheese sauce, you get, if you want it to be like really more like, I just prefer it this way. I like it this way because it gives me a little bit of extra like cheese sauce, kind of. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find my spoon. As I drop another one on the ground. It gives me a little bit extra cheese sauce, especially for like if you refrigerate it. Because of course this is great if you refrigerate it and eat it the next day. Heat it up in the microwave, what have you. If you put in the full box of pasta, and then the next day, and if you plan on eating it that day, it's fine. But by the next day, because the cheese and stuff in the refrigerator gets kind of a little bit harder, not hard, but it just, it gets a little bit colder and harder. for some reason, it's almost like, well, it doesn't get hard. It's really not at all, but it just kind of gets colder, I guess. But I guess it's just, I'm going to put this on for about 10 minutes. I just feel like it works better if you have a little bit less pasta. You get a little bit more cheese to it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So while that's cooking, just give me a minute. I'm going to change the angle. I'm going to put together the cheese sauce for you so that you can see how to do it. So hold on. Okay, so while that's boiling and has like, 5 to 9 minutes left, I'm going to open the cheese and put it in a smaller kind of saucepan thing. And get it all in there. And, people, like, if you've never had Cheese Whiz, they're like, ew, that looks gross. It looks like, fake cheese or whatever. It's not, trust me, it's good. I don't like Cheese Whiz on anything else other than this recipe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't eat Cheese Whiz I don't like it for anything else but this recipe is the only thing I like it with. It's the only thing I ever buy it for. Some people use it to make, like, dip and different things, but I don't even like doing that. But for this recipe, I like it, and probably it's the tomatoes that make me like it. So once you get the cheese in, you can set the stove on like a medium. I have it on like 5 because you don't want to burn it. And then the other thing that you use is the tomatoes. Now, when you open the can, you might think, oh, I should drain them. Nope, you're not going to drain them. You're going to keep, I don't know if you can see, you're going to keep all that yummy liquid in there. That's going to help make it saucy. You're just going to dump the whole can in, and that's it. That's your sauce. You don't need to add anything else. You just mix it until it's all heated and melted. You don't want to heat it too fast because you don't want it to burn. You don't want to walk away from it because if it burns, you're going to hate it because it's going to be gross. Like, even if it gets a little burnt on the bottom, it starts to get gross. So my suggestion is to not walk away, even with it on a low heat. But it will all combine. It's all going to combine, and it's not going to look like that. It'll look real smooth and creamy. And the trick is that I add to it, which you do not have to do, is I usually add a big heaping teaspoon, or whatever the hell that is, tablespoon, spoonful, whatever, of cream cheese. If I can get a napkin here, because I had to finagle something to get my camera to sit still. So usually I'll take like a nice heaping thing of cream cheese and put that in there too. But again, you do not have to at all. Like, don't even worry about it. It makes it good, but it's not that big of a deal. It's totally not necessary at all. So basically, it's a heat and eat type of thing. You heat it up until it all congeals together. Usually I like to soften the cream cheese first, like leave it out for a little while, like in a little bowl, just like cut some off and put it on a plate and cover it and leave it sit for like an hour before I make it. But I didn't even think about it until I was just about to make it, and I was like, oh, I want to make that, and I didn't want to wait. So I just decided to turn the camera on and show you how I make it, because I don't know, somebody might be interested in trying it, especially like when you don't feel like cooking anything major, but you want something yummy that's like one of those comforty food type of things. I'm all about comfort food. So that's really all you do until it is melted down. So I will shut off the camera and come back when all of this is melted, and I will actually strain the pasta when it's done, and then show you about, how to, you know, well, you get the drift, but I'll come back anyway to show you what it looks like. The end result. I'll be back. Okay, so I should have put the cream cheese in first because I had it refrigerated, and normally I don't do that, but it would have melted quicker. But there's a couple little spots of cream cheese that are not melted, but it's all good. I don't care. Anyway, so that's the tomatoes. You see the tomatoes are in there. It's kind of like it's kind of like, you know how you would eat like tomato soup and grilled cheese. It's kind of like that in a sense. I'm also going to show you something else after I do this real quick. Something else I thought of that I usually would have with it. So I'm going to pour this in right over the macaroni. And that's basically, I just drained the macaroni and put it into a bowl that I can put in the refrigerator when I'm done having a portion of it. And then you just mix it. And just mix it, which I don't know where to put it. Okay, that's fine. So then you just mix it up and then you serve it. You just, you know, kind of like a it's kind of more, it's not as like solid as like macaroni and cheese. It's like half soup, half macaroni and cheese, but trust me when I tell you, it is really, really good. So my mom usually would have like a ladle or something, so I would just serve this in a bowl. But because I want to show you something else before I eat that, I'm going to put a plate over it, which I should have taken that out first. Because I'm going to put the broiler on. I'm going to put the oven on broil. I'm going to grab a couple of things really quick, so I will be right back. Okay, so I have this bread that's going to go bad soon if I don't eat it, and I figured I can make my quick and easy, poor man's, can't speak, garlic bread. So I'm just going to find a knife. I don't have a serrated one handy, so I'll just grab this. And I'm just going to cut it lengthways. These are these rolls I've gotten. And, well, I'll try to cut it in two, but I can make a mess as well. And then you take butter, and you're not going to spread the butter because that's like virtually impossible to do. So you're just going to take little chunks of butter and put it all over the bread. I don't know if you can see. Take little chunks of butter and put it all over. I'm sure there are people out there that have done this a million times. I should probably take that off because it's just going to burn. But this is my cheap, poor version of a garlic bread that I've made all my life. This is not something my mother used to make. This is just something I made because back in the day, if I had leftover hamburger buns when I was younger, or hot dog buns, or any kind of bread that was left over and going to go bad, I would make pasta, you know, and then I would make garlic bread out of it by just doing this. I have these little pans that I have for my toaster oven. They're good to just do a couple pieces with, so you don't have to do like a whole pan or something. But you just put a lot of butter, and let me rinse my hands. And then, if you have some sort of garlic, you can use real garlic, but I just use granulated garlic. It's not garlic salt, it's actually just like granulated actual like garlic. I guess you could use garlic salt, but I always like this stuff. And I just put a sprinkling of this on carefully over the butter. I used to make garlic butter sometimes too. I would get like a tub of soft butter stuff, and then I'd make my own little mixture. In this way, if you did that, You can get like a small tub of like soft butter. I don't like margarine. I like using butter. You can either leave it out on the stove while you're cooking something so it kind of gets warm enough to mix stuff into it, and then you can mix your garlic and your stuff in it, and then have it all the time, you know. But this way is fine too for like quick pinch. This is just Italian seasoning. You can get the cheapy kind for like $1. But yeah, it's just Italian seasoning. It has like all the different stuff in it, and then you can use a little bit of olive oil if you'd like. I don't have the thing I usually would use to pour it out easier, but I just put a little drizzle of it just to kind of, I don't know, make it yummy. Just put a little bit on there so it looks like that, and then I put it on my bread. Now the trick to this is you're going to put it on the very top rack under the broiler. However, you're going to keep a really close eye on it because it'll burn in a heartbeat. So you don't want to walk away from it. This is like what you want to do when you have nothing left to do. Don't do dishes, don't do nothing. Just stick it under there, and it literally takes like maybe a minute and a half, if that. So I'll come back when it's all done. Okie dokie. So there's my garlic bread, looking really yummy. And that's it. I'm going to transfer it to a plate, grab me a spoon, and eat my yummy, cheap, poor man's dinner. Well, breakfast, lunch, whatever it is. And yeah, so I hope you'll give it a try because it's super easy, super cheap, and really yummy. It's definitely a comfort food. But anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye.